Alright guys, we finally got some new information released on the Tesla semi-trucks. In today's video, we're going to be hearing from Pepsi and their fleet vehicle of semi-trucks and some of their first world data, how it's actually going. We also have some Tesla news. So as always, just hit the like button and let's get on into it.
On today's episode, PepsiCo reveals just how efficient their Tesla semi-fleet really is, Tesla buys property in India, and the Cybertruck frunk is looking a little small. PepsiCo recently released a video showcasing exactly how helpful their Tesla semi-fleet has been for operations at their facility in Sacramento, California. The video, released on August 2nd, has some of the first real-world data we've ever seen for the semi, mostly because PepsiCo is one of the first adopters of the vehicle. The company received their first batch of the vehicles at a delivery event in December of 2022 and have since grown their fleet to 21 trucks. As it turns out, the battery electric semi-trucks are ideal for the bulk of work that goes on at the Sacramento depot, with most deliveries being inside a 100-mile radius, allowing the Tesla semi-deliveries to basically run around the clock. The company reports that charging at their mega charger stations or at one of the many Tesla stations dotted along the normal delivery routes takes at most 25 to 30 minutes to bring a vehicle from 10% charge all the way back up to 95%, which also would give their drivers a good time to take a break, something many industry employees don't tend to get with diesel-powered trucks. And for the three semis reserved for longer haul routes, anywhere from 250 miles to 450 miles, PepsiCo reports that the regenerative braking systems end up extending the range of trucks significantly. Regenerative braking charges the vehicle's batteries by converting kinetic energy from the wheels as the vehicle coasts and is slowed by magnetic resistance in the vehicle's three motors. An electric motor and an electric generator are basically the same thing, it just depends on what direction you flow the energy. This happens so often on routes like the one through Donors Pass between Sacramento and Nevada that the trucks actually end up gaining charge on the way back. So between the easy charging, the mostly local trips, the accessibility of charging stations, and the regenerative braking, PepsiCo reports that they've been able to more or less maintain an average of 1.7 kilowatt hours per mile for the Tesla semi fleet, which is just an incredible level of efficiency. A big part of that is from the Sacramento depot's charging system. PepsiCo opted to install their own system when they took delivery of their semis because it gave them a level of control over where they fed the power from. The facility is almost entirely run on solar power from panels on the location's roof, but while this is enough to cover the daily charging needs of their electric forklifts and smaller vans, the company was forced to hook up to the local substation grid for the extra 3 megawatts of new service to the facility. And while that's certainly not ideal, it did allow PepsiCo to maintain their own chargers and take advantage of fleet rates for energy use, as well as government credits to offset the cost. All in all, a win for the company, and local managers report that the next couple of facilities will have extra on-site generation built with this in mind, so they can bring even more of their power needs under their own control. And all of that is just the numbers. The drivers are also thrilled with these trucks. We've already talked about the charge rate creating great opportunities for some much-needed downtime for drivers, but they also reported a better turn radius than most cars and a quieter, smoother ride. The design of the interior is reportedly a huge perk as well. Aside from just being comfortable, the central location of the throne allows for an easier driving experience, and that's before...
Man, these things are awesome. That is the sleekest semi design ever. Tesla has built this semi geniusly. Letting it recharge itself while going down hills, that is a masterclass genius plan for semis. Not to mention that all of the semi people that adopt the semis, they're also going to adopt the chargers and have them all installed around their own businesses. I mean, this is just a cash flow machine for the Tesla company.
Or taking in the multiple information displays. In conventional semi-trucks, the operators need to keep an eye on a series of gauges and switches. On a Tesla, those have more or less all been replaced with displays and touchscreens. And while one driver reported having some difficulties at first, she was able to get a handle on the layout quickly and found the vehicle much easier to manage once she did. Within a half hour, I was comfortable, If you know how to use a smartphone, then you can easily operate one of these trucks, said PepsiCo driver Casey Theon. All of this data goes a long way to showing why the company is planning on investing more of their infrastructure on the switch to electric semis. PepsiCo's long-term plans are to reduce their emissions by 75% by 2030 and 100% by 2040. But at Sacramento, they are pleased to report that the facility is already 50% electric with the addition of the Tesla rigs. What we're really seeing here is a huge company with a major stake in the transportation industry testing out a new type of rig and finding that it has huge benefits regardless of the upfront costs to make the switch. Similarly to when Ford decided to partner with Tesla to use their superior NACS chargers, this video from PepsiCo will likely start a major shift in other large companies who previously were unconvinced with the utility of these electric semis. Tesla and India have finally decided to get serious. On August 2nd, Indian media outlet Punakar News reported that the EV company and the local government had reached a point in their ongoing negotiations that Tesla pulled the trigger on the lease of a 5,850 square foot office. The new location at the Panchil Business Park in Pune is definitely not for production, but the local area is a bit of a hotspot for IT and automotive industry, so it does seem like the right place to set up a headquarters. Tesla and India have been going back and forth about a potential partnership for a couple of years at this point, but we've never seen this sort of commitment. In the past, Tesla has hit the proverbial wall in terms of dealing with India's notoriously tough tariffs on foreign companies, but the most recent push into the Indian market has shown a much more willing Indian government, with officials as high up as Prime Minister Modi taking an interest in the deal. Not only that, but every bit of reporting we've had about this year's attempts to get a partnership going between India and Tesla have shown that Indian officials seem much more enthusiastic.
Guys, we've got other continents getting on board. Once new companies start seeing Pepsi's releases of their opinions of these semis, they're going to be mass adopted in the US. Tesla's growing in the US, out of the US, on the earth, off the earth. I mean, it's just amazing how far he's come, how much he can do. It really helps that the world has switched to wanting to get emissions down. That's the perfect thing to add to these vehicles to just make them that much more needed and necessary.
Reuters reported that just last week, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal met with Tesla executives to discuss a manufacturing plant days before they finalized the deal for Tesla's new office space. And it all comes down to one detail: Tesla's plans for a new $24,000 model of car. During this year's Investor Day event in March, Tesla presenters revealed that the company was making preparations to launch a truly affordable small vehicle. The thinking at the time was this could be the fabled compact Model 2, a vehicle smaller than the Model 3, priced for roughly $24,000, that CEO Elon Musk had hinted at years ago. It was also heavily implied at Investor Day that the newly announced Giga Mexico would likely be the first location to produce these vehicles. However, Mexico certainly wouldn't be the only place a smaller electric car would sell. Tesla has had a relatively tough time in China. Most of their strongest rivals are well established there, but a compact vehicle would certainly go a long way to allow the company to compete in not just China, but throughout Asia. And so we look back to India, a country that has been on Tesla's shortlist for a new facility for some time now. India is becoming very popular for automotive companies wanting to expand across Asia, as their high population and lack of competition makes for a very enticing opportunity. Tesla specifically would have basically no rival.
If you guys didn't know, Tesla would have no rivals, like he's just about to say. And India's population is like well over 1 billion people. 1 billion. Let that sit. There's a market of 1 billion people that's untapped, just ready and ripe for the picking to be sold. Some Teslas.
Rivals operating in India, as companies like China's BYD are also fighting for a foothold. Provided they can manage to make a manufacturing facility there, Tesla should be able to get an early lead, and luckily for them, it seems like India is finally interested enough to begin removing barriers. A new office space doesn't guarantee Tesla will land this deal, but it's way further than they have ever gotten before. So a Giga India announcement might not be so far away. Tesla fans have been taking in as much news about the Cybertruck as they can get for weeks now, but there's one particular question about the vehicle's specs that has been getting some attention lately without any answers. Just how big is the Cybertruck's frunk? The front trunk of the new stainless steel truck has been a subject of much debate since we started getting images of it back in April this year, and well before that if we're being honest, but the beta production vehicles gave us our first real images to make estimations about the capacity of the front storage space. Early estimates had the size being potentially similar to Ford's F-150 Lightning, and even though Cybertruck's pre-production models have been spotted in close-up venues like the Investor Day event in March and the Peterson Museum visit in June, we've never seen a close-up of the frunk. Then on July 23rd, we saw these shots of a pair of Cybertrucks in a garage getting worked on. The main focus was the funny F-150 wrap on one of the models, but last week, industry veteran Sandy Monroe and his team went over this image and had some concerns about the size of the front storage space. Obviously, the two vehicles shown here don't have the frunk's tub installed, making it easier for technicians to get at the parts.
Looking at these pictures, it doesn't even look like you can put a trunk anywhere. A frunk. It doesn't look like it would fit anywhere.
Behind. But even without the insert, that space looks awfully small. And then on August 4th, a pair of sightings showed more details. In an overhead shot by Joe Tetmeyer, we can see a Cybertruck charging in the Tesla lot with what looks like a frunk insert laying in the truck's box. At the same time, we get a closer view of the frunk sizes from a quick video posted to TikTok by user randomness2646. Both the video and Joe's drone shot seem to confirm that the frunk size is not only smaller than we would have hoped, but potentially varies in size. The variation could be caused by Tesla's technicians making small adjustments to production candidates, or it could be that frunk sizes will be different depending on which package you purchase. The big problem right now is that we just don't know. Tesla hasn't released the specs yet, even though they've been very open about the size and features of the Cybertruck's bed. To be fair to Tesla, though, the bed is a primary feature of a pickup truck, whereas the frunk is hardly the most important thing about the new vehicle. It would be great to get any sort of confirmation, though.
Alright, so that was a lot of great new information released on the Tesla semi-truck, the Tesla factories, some Tesla plans. Guys, if you liked the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button. I'm going to be trying to bring you guys the best videos, most interesting videos I can find. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.